Back for Gonzalez, in between two, goes down, and the referee is going to give a penalty.
Takes the touch there, and there's the contact. It looks like Blackman pokes the ball away initially, and that's a pretty generous call.
Welcome to Instant Replay, MLS Cup Playoffs Edition. As always, we're taking a look at the most controversial refereeing decisions in Major League Soccer, this time for Match 2 in the best-of-3 series in Round 1. We start in New England with a huge call that helped the Philadelphia Union go through. The Revs down to 10 men after the 42nd minute when Mark-Anthony Kaye received a red card following video review for this stomp on Daniel Gazdag. VAR Dana Radford sent it down to Drew Fisher, and Drew Fisher decided, yes, that is violent conduct. And I agree with Fisher. For me, this is brutality. You cannot stomp on another player on the field off the ball. There were many who said, well, that's not a stomp. Where is Mark-Anthony Kaye going to put his left foot? I would say anywhere but in the torso of Gazdag. And the deciding factor for me is this. Watch Mark-Anthony Kaye as he's stepping over Gazdag. In control, in my opinion, of his body. His momentum is taking him forward. He can step forward with that left foot. But instead of following his momentum, Mark-Anthony Kaye steps back and down into Gazdag's torso. I don't think Mark-Anthony Kaye has to step on Gazdag. There are options for him to avoid the contact, but he doesn't. Given that, Drew Fisher's hand is forced in my opinion. This is a red card for violent conduct. In the end, Philadelphia 1-0 winners. They'll move on to the conference semifinals in the Eastern Conference to face Cincinnati, who knocked off the Red Bulls in 2 games. We've got a handful of plays from that Red Bulls-Cincinnati match at Red Bull Arena. We start in the 5th minute. John Tolkin wants a penalty kick here for a foul on Yerson Mosquera. I see just a little bit of contact here, but is it enough contact to bring down Tolkin? Victor Rivas has a great angle on the field and says no. Caroline Chenard, the VAR, does not recommend review, and in my opinion, that's the right decision. Rivas has another decision to make in the 41st minute when Tom Barlow comes through hard on Mosquera. For Cincinnati faithful, the alarm bells were ringing here. They were saying red card, but Rivas went yellow on the field, and I think that's the right call. For me, this is more reckless than it is excessive force. I think the contact is glancing and doesn't, in my opinion, reach the threshold for serious foul play, but it certainly is a caution. To first half stoppage time we go. Frankie Amaya wants a penalty on Matt Miazga, and we can all see it appears the ball hits Matt Miazga's arm on the shot. Now the question is Matt Miazga's arm in a natural position? For me, it's down to the side of his body, not extended, not making himself bigger, not moving toward the ball. So this is a natural position, and no PK is the decision I prefer and what Victor Rivas called on the field. Ultimately, I think Miazga's arm is within his silhouette. Well done to the crew on this call. Now, more controversy. 97th minute, second half stoppage time. Cincinnati pushing for the goal that will send them through, and the ball's in the back of the net. Only Victor Rivas called a foul on the play. It was a tad confusing in the stadium. Believe me, I was there thinking Cincinnati had won because it appeared Rivas pointed to the center circle, signaling for a goal. But that's the same signal as if he called a foul, which is what the call on the field was. Foul on Sergio Santos on the goalkeeper. Check complete from Caroline Chenard because, as you can see, there is contact from Sergio Santos, and the smoking gun for me is the way Santos reaches his arm around and impedes Coronel's ability to use his hands and arms to make the save. For me, Santos backs into the goalkeeper, even if just a little bit, and that arm around is really the deciding factor. No way to go to video review and say this is a clear and obvious error. If it's a foul on the field, it's a foul on video review. One more big decision from this match, with implications that could stretch further into the postseason, certainly into the conference semifinals. Matt Miazga, at the end of regulation, is unhappy with Victor Rivas and the call to take off the goal. Here's the decision by Rivas, yellow card for dissent, and that's important because it's Miazga's second yellow card of the series. Now, in penalty kicks, after Miazga scores his penalty, he engages, let's say, with the Red Bulls fans in the supporters' end. Blowing kisses, making heart signs. To some, this might be a genuine expression of love. To others, it might be taunting. Either way, Carlos Coronel, the Red Bulls goalkeeper, takes exception and the two players come together. Rivas separates them and then goes to his pocket yet again. Yellow card, unsporting behavior. That's 3 yellow cards for Miazga and a suspension for the conference semifinals, now we know, against the Union. And while Rivas was justified by the laws, in my opinion, to give a yellow card for unsporting behavior, it is excessive by Miazga in this situation, and he turns back after being warned. My preference would be for Rivas to keep the yellow card in his pocket and manage the game differently here. First, because of the stakes. A yellow card in penalty kicks is going to see Miazga suspended. Second, because of the history between Miazga and the fans, who, by the way, were booing Miazga heartily. So while I think the law book supports this decision, I would much rather see Rivas do everything in his power to manage it without a caution. But ultimately, Miazga was walking a tight line on 2 yellows. In the end, he's responsible for his own actions here. To Vancouver we go, 22nd minute. Mario Gonzalez in the penalty box. Veselinovic and Blackman come together, and down goes Gonzalez. Tim Ford, the referee, points to the spot, much to the chagrin of the Whitecaps. Live, I thought this call was soft, and after reviewing it on video, I would like to see this penalty not called. Here's why. Watch Blackman's eyes closely. He sees the ball, he pokes the ball away. In my opinion, that is before the contact that occurs between Mario Gonzalez and Veselinovic. I also think Gonzalez goes down pretty easy here. Watch him plant his feet and then just kind of jump over the top when he sees that he's not getting to this ball and it's changed directions. For me, no penalty, but I understand why VAR Jerry Marufo didn't send this one for review. There is contact from Veselinovic on Gonzalez, though we can't quite see the degree of that contact. Ultimately, I understand why the Whitecaps were frustrated. And they were even more frustrated late in the match. Tim Ford has the accidental pick on a Caps player, and that leads to the counterattack. It's a good goal on the field, but Marufo gets in Ford's ear. Hey, we need to review this, and they get the call right in the end. This is offside, and here's why. Watch Bouanga's position when Vela plays this ball. Bouanga is ahead of the ball, and Yohei Takeoka, the Caps goalkeeper, is all the way up for the previous corner kick. So there's only one defender between Bouanga and the goal. He's either got to be even with the second to last defender, or even or behind the ball when it's played, and he's neither. Now, we brushed over it, but let's go back to that quote-unquote pick by Tim Ford on the Vancouver Whitecaps player. Head coach Vanni Sartini was very frustrated with that. Sartini said play should have been stopped, but that's a misunderstanding of the laws. If the ball hits the referee, play can be stopped. But if a player runs into the referee, or vice versa, a referee runs into a player, the referee is considered part of the field in that situation, and play will not be stopped. Either way, in the end, the crew got this one right, no goal. I do have 2 more plays to look at in this match, and they're both Richie Laryea penalty shouts, wouldn't you know it. First one comes at the end of the first half. Laryea goes into a challenge with Murillo, and it looks to me like Laryea more slips in this situation than Murillo takes him down. No penalty is the right call there for me. Okay, let's go to the second half. Another Laryea situation in the box. And I just don't see enough contact on Laryea in this situation to call a penalty. Good no calls on both of those, in my opinion. And well done to VAR Kevin Stott in the Dallas-Seattle second match. 13th minute, it's pretty clear on review that Nuhu fouls Bernard Kamungo. Stott spots it, gets down into Rosendo Mendoza's ear. Mendoza goes to the monitor and makes the call we can all see. That's a penalty. The more complicated call comes later in the match with Dallas up 2-1. Watch at the bottom of your screen. Raul Ruidiaz is running into the 18 with Jesus Ferreira chasing. Jesus Ferreira pulls on the jersey. That is indisputable. No foul is called on the field, but again, Stott gets in Mendoza's ear and says, hey, go review this one. I see a clear and obvious error. Penalty should be called. Mendoza goes to the monitor, says, no, I'm sticking with my call on the field. And I'm torn, just like I think everyone watching this play is. That cross is never, ever getting to Raul Ruidiaz. However, in pulling a player in the box, Jesus Ferreira almost certainly commits a foul. Is it possible to agree both with Stott and Mendoza? I guess so, because I do. In Stott's case, yes, you send this down for review. There is a pull in the box, and that would seem to be a clear foul. But for Mendoza, watching this play, a play in which Ruidiaz is never going to get to the ball, my mind goes to the very first page of the IFAB laws, under the headline, The Philosophy and Spirit of the Laws. And I quote, the laws cannot deal with every possible situation. So where there is no direct provision in the laws, the IFAB expects the referee to make a decision within the spirit of the game. And the laws, this often involves asking the question, what would football want or expect? In this case, I think soccer, come on, that's our word, would want and expect play on. This tug did not materially affect the play. It did not prevent a goal-scoring opportunity. but I certainly understand why Seattle Sounders fans, staff, and players would be extremely frustrated. All right, to Atlanta we go, where the Five Stripes extended their series against the Crew. But there was a moment just after the 70th minute when the Crew might have had a penalty to get it back to 2-2. Yeboah is driving forward in the box, and Yeboah goes down. Chris Pinto is right there. Great view, great angle, and he says no penalty kick. And initially I thought, yep, that's for sure the correct call. If you watch it, that contact with the right leg is initiated by Yeboah, not the defender. But it's not actually where the contact occurs the more I watched. Watch the left foot of Miles Robinson and Yeboah's left foot. It looks to me like Robinson sticks that foot out and catches Yeboah's left foot, which takes him down. The challenge is, I can't see the degree of contact given the angles we have, so I understand why the VAR did not send this one down for review. To me, it doesn't quite meet clear and obvious based on the evidence. But in my gut, I think there's enough contact here to call a foul. But that's with the benefit of rewatching this play over and over and over, a benefit Chris Pinto did not have on the field. Last play of this very complicated and fascinating instant replay, at least from my point of view. I hope you enjoyed it too. 26-minute RSL Houston. Justin Glad goes in hard on Franco Escobar. That, folks, is a clear foul in the penalty area and a penalty. Fotis Bazakos calls it, but after a pretty sizable delay, which made RSL fans think that he played advantage. And if he had played advantage and a shot was taken, there's no double jeopardy. He couldn't have brought it back. But watch Fotis Bazakos' body language. There is never a signal for advantage. He just delays his call. In the end, this was done correctly, although I would have liked to see Bazakos point to the spot and make the penalty call much sooner. All right, that's it for Instant Replay. Much more to come in these MLS Cup playoffs. Big thank you to my editor, Phil Levanco, my producer, Rich Hernandez, and all of you for watching. I'm Andrew Wiebe. We'll see you next time.